There's been a horrible accident, I said hastily. I don't know what happened. Corcoran's eyeless skull gawked, his lower jaw having sagged more since I first found him, making it look like his corpse was trying to scream. His body is just a casing to be discarded, the man said softly. What's important is that you will not deny him burial in the method we prepared for him. We're his protectors. Stop us from doing his will and you'll be harmed. His transition has come and we are ready. Go back in the house. No one needs to know.
Knife Point Horror. Tales of supernatural suspense written, produced, and narrated by Soren Narnia. Now transmitting from SpectreVision Radio, anywhere you hear podcasts.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. Stop waiting around for the perfect candidate. Instead, use Indeed sponsored jobs to find the right people with the right skills fast. It's a simple way to make sure your listing is the first candidates see. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs have 4 times more applicants than non-sponsored jobs. So go build your dream team today with Indeed. Get a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
I'm Kelly Chase. 4 years ago, my life cracked open. I experienced something I couldn't explain, and I haven't stopped chasing it since.
And I'm J. Christopher King. I've been having anomalous experiences my whole life. This work, it's not just what I do, it's who I am.
This season on Cosmosis, we're going into the field, to places where the veil is thin and where the signal of the phenomenon breaks through. We're meeting the researchers, experiencers, and witnesses who live in its wake.
From UFOs to near-death experiences, from cryptids to channeling, we're diving into the high strangeness that challenges everything we think we know. Because reality isn't just weird, it's weirder than you can imagine.
We don't know what we'll find, but we're going to follow the signal wherever it leads. And we're taking you with us.
Be sure to follow us on Spotify so you never miss an episode of Cosmosis, coming to you from SpectreVision Radio.
SpectreVision Radio.
Telemetry and launch condition.
Well, some other observers.
It's late night.
It's late night on the astral plane, where it's never too late. With your host, Ryan Singer.
It's more fun to believe.
Hey everybody, thank you for listening to another voyage and or watching another voyage of Late Night on the Astral Plane. This is your buddy Ryan Singer. Good morning, good afternoon, good night. I got to tell you, this is the second time I'm recording this. I had a audio glitch that I was unaware of as I was editing the video of this on the last thing. And there might have been some kind of component with the video, so I'm going to have a dynamically moving screen for those who are watching, but you won't get to see me in the longest hair I've had in maybe my life at this point. Is my hair longer than it's ever been right now? I don't know. It could possibly be. But regardless of the length of my hair, I got to tell you, I'm getting super juiced, super jacked, yacked, cracked, and stoked. And you know me, I'm a guy who I'm just... the moments of my life in which I'm awake, now that varies. That greatly varies. Sometimes I'm up at 7 a.m. Sometimes I'm up at noon. It's just, you just never know what's going to happen around here. But when I am awake for those 18 hours, 16 hours, whatever it is, I'm just in an endless cycle of getting jacked and then crashing. I'm a get jacked and then crash kind of guy. And so I'm trying to correct that. I'm trying to get out of that. So I'm not really on the caffeine in such a serious way as I used to be. I got to tell you, I don't drink energy drinks anymore, ever. Can't remember the last time I had an energy drink. It was 2025. I mean, we're only barely into February, I guess. But I used to drink those regularly when I would be recording podcasts at night. Like, it's nighttime. I'm recording. I like recording these at night. It's just something about the nighttime is the right time for recording paranormal podcast content, commentary, information, research, investigatory results. These are the things that I know to be true. Okay, I'm on one. I am on one. I'm drinking water and I'm on one tonight. It's because I recorded it and it just, I can't use it. So now it's just like, well, now what are we going to talk about? I just assume you've already heard everything I already said, even though no one has. No, not even me, really. It was glitch in and out of the, that's what it sounded like. And I was like, I can't do this to people. I mean, it wasn't like that the whole time, but about every 2 minutes, every minute and a half, there was that happening. It was dropping out. And I was like, I can't do that to people. And you might be asking yourself, wow, Ryan, you actually edit and make sure you listen. Yeah. From time to time, I go the extra mile to try to provide quality content here for you. I want to talk about symbols. I'm so stoked about symbols. Spirals. Ooh. You know what? I have a Dictionary of Symbols by J.E. Serlo. And this was a book that just arrived in the mail today because a friend of mine had this book on their bookshelf. I looked at it, I opened it up, and the first thing I see is the word spirals. And I'm like, this book, I need this book. So now I have 3. I have the Herget Dictionary of Symbols, which is pretty small. It's close as you can get to be in a pocket size, but without it being that small, unless you got really long pockets. So, and I've also got an incredible The Book of Symbols, which I've read from in the past on this program. I love it. I mean, I did a book draw earlier and I got hermaphrodite. And the interesting thing about hermaphrodite is simultaneously being 2 things at once. I love this. Many of the ancient gods had hermaphroditism, if I'm saying that correctly. And I'm not sure I am, but we're just going to go with hermaphroditism. Hermaphroditism is a fascinating, interesting quality for ancient gods, to have male and female, to be multiple things simultaneously, and yet making the one thing bigger than either of the parts. The sum of the parts is greater than the parts themselves. And you look at the Christian God. The Christian God was like, I'm a dude, and I get a woman pregnant with my seed magically. And it's like, okay, I see. We see where this is headed. We see where this is going, right? And so a major difference between the Christian God and some of the ancient gods, so some of these old Egyptian gods and things like that. So hermaphroditism, being 2 things simultaneously at once, very, very cool. Very, very fascinating. And it embodies a lot of the paranormal. It embodies a lot of what we're dealing with over here in the woo-woo wild woods. The woo-woo wild woods? The woo-woo wild ones are in the woo-woo wild woods. The woodlands of the woo-woo. The woo-woo woodlands. Maybe I don't have to keep saying that. I don't. But I have continued. Because that's who I am as a person. Man, this reminds me of 2013, doesn't it? There's no way there's anybody who listened to this podcast back then still listening now. If you are, reach out to me. I'm going to send you gifts. Mostly energy. But yeah, so hermaphrodite was I did a book draw on the Dictionary of Symbols that arrived in the mail today. Just whenever you get a dictionary in the mail, which I don't know how often that is for you, but I get about one every 6 days. That's not true. How crazy would that be if I'm just like, I just can't stop buying dictionaries? There's a word for that. What is it? If there was only a way for me to figure out what that was. So I like to do a book draw whenever I get a dictionary in the mail. And hermaphrodite was what came up. And to me, that is such a great, great word for living a life in the paranormal. You can feel crazy and completely sane simultaneously, because basically at the heart of it, the symbolism of it is duality. And we're talking about the coexisting of two seemingly opposite things in the same thing, in the same person, in the same phenomena. How can paranormal phenomena be so mesmerizing and yet also so confounding and so simple in many ways? Well, I got to tell you, I just finished Ultimate Journey, the third and final book written by Robert Monroe in his trilogy about out-of-body experiences and the Monroe Institute that he founded along with his wife. And I'm not going to give you spoilers. I read from it last week, and I'm not going to do any more from it because there's so much in this third and final book that I want to tell you. I want to share every detail with you. I want to do the audiobook for you on this program. We call it a program still. I can't get rid of that word out of my vernacular. I want to share everything about that book with you. All the interesting tidbits, some of the stories, all of the profound insights, and some of the breakthroughs that quite frankly change everything. Was that dramatic enough? I tried to pepper some drama onto that last phrase. I hope you picked that up and it didn't make you sneeze. Pepper makes me sneeze sometimes. Hope you're not allergic to drama. I actually am. Hate drama. I avoid drama. I do the best I can to avoid drama. I'm not a drama guy. I love acting, but when it comes to like drama, you know what I'm talking about. We're talking about the how can you be seemingly opposite things at the same time, simultaneously? Well, if there's anything about paranormal and supernatural or high strangeness that we've learned over the years and over the decades and the centuries of the many, many people who have been studying, researching, and exploring into the worlds of the unknown, it is that, in fact, it is one of the main attributes, I would argue. I just got to say, I'm actually thinking this is better. About 10 minutes in, I'm thinking this is exponentially better than the first go when all the glitching happened. And not because it's not glitching, but, I'm not attached to what I'm saying anymore. Does that make sense? Okay. So I'm kind of just like, let's just let it rip this time. You know what I mean? And I think I should do this every time. I just have to block off some more time. Maybe I'll never sleep again. The Gateway Voyage meditations can teach you many great things. Sleeping less might be one of them. We'll see. I'll do a 1 month patterning session, and we'll see if we can make that happen. But the point is this: I'm not going to give you any more spoilers about those books. As much as it's shaped my, shaped is a strong word. It has informed my view on paranormal phenomena. I find to be Robert Monroe a reliable narrator. That is a key component to what I'm saying here. I find this person to be a reliable narrator. Now, do I worship at the altar of Robert Monroe and think everything he said is 100% accurate and true for everyone else in this world? Of course not. Let's be reasonable here. Let's be reasonable people here. But I do believe that Robert Monroe was and remains a reliable narrator. And that's because I hung out with him in the astral plane and I asked him, "Are you reliable as a narrator?" And he said, "Ryan, of course." That didn't happen. Maybe it will. Maybe it won't. Highly recommend these books. Journeys Out of Body, Far Journey, Ultimate Journey. Those are the 3 books. The You know, if I would have read these books 20 years ago, who knows where I would be right now? I'd probably be full-time living in a non-physical space. I got to tell you, it's just like, why couldn't I have discovered these sooner? It's like, don't be upset about when you discover them. Just embrace. The time was right because that's when the time was. Okay, I'm glad you said that. I appreciate that.
Hey, man, that's right, man. You just need to, like, understand that it was right when it was supposed to happen.
You know, Todd, I was just getting ready to say, like, I wish Todd was here right now because Todd would get it, man.
Yeah, man, I get it. I do get it, man. I always have and I always will, man.
You know, Todd, I knew I could count on you.
Yeah, man.
Could I ask you a question, buddy?
Of course, man.
Feel free to say no. It's going to be a personal question, okay?
Of course,
so
man.
Feel free to say no.
Oh, of course, man. You can ask me anything you want anytime, man. You know, we've got that kind of relationship, man. I don't mind being open with you, man.
I know that.
Vulnerability, man.
Yep.
Brene Brown, you
Yep.
talk about her. I love her too.
Love
man.
her. Yep.
Ask me anything you want, okay, man?
Okay.
Fire away, man.
Okay. Well, Todd, I wanted to ask you, since you're a beacon of vulnerability and
Thanks,
openness.
Man. Thanks, man. I appreciate that, man.
If you
okay.
could travel through the non-physical space, the astral plane.
Oh, yeah, man.
Full time.
Mm-hmm.
Before your physical death.
Oh.
Would you choose to leave the physical plane sooner? I guess have a physical death. Or
oh man,
do you think that
that's heavy?
You'd be able to just keep yourself here until the end.
Wow,
if
man.
that makes sense.
That's really heavy though, man. You know, like you said it, man. It's like, you know, it happened when it was supposed to happen because that's when it happened. So that's how you know it was supposed to happen when it happened, man.
Yeah.
I dig that, man. So, oh, man. Traveling the astral plane full time, man?
Yeah, full time.
Oh, yeah. So cool, man. It would be rad, man.
Yeah,
it really would. But let me be real.
Okay, I love when you're real.
Our time here on Earth in the physical realm to have these experiences, I worry I wouldn't learn all my lessons. Man.
Oh.
I want to learn every lesson. I want to optimize my physicality. Okay. I want to optimize my physicality. Man.
Okay.
Did I say that twice?
Yeah, you did. You did say it twice.
It's fun to say, man.
It is.
Say it with me, man.
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
Optimize my physicality.
Man. So I don't think I would bring about my physical death.
It is fun to say.
Because I want to optimize my physicality. And even if my death is painful later on, man, which who knows, man? Who knows if it will be.
I hope not.
Hope not, man.
Yeah,
hope not.
I hope not too.
I like it, man. I dig it, man. There's lots of things I like to do in the physical plane, man.
Yeah, that's for sure.
You know what
There's
I mean?
be things I'd miss.
Buffalo cauliflower, man.
Oh, those are delicious.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
So, yeah, man. Good question, though.
Oh, thanks.
But I'm cool, man. I'm cool however it plays out, man. I'm going to sit back and watch the movie of my life.
The movie?
Sit back and watch the movie of my life.
Oh, movie of your life. Okay.
All right. Love
I
you,
appreciate
man.
it, buddy.
Talk soon.
Love you too, Todd. So that was Todd. Todd, hadn't heard from you in a minute. That was good to hear from you. He pops in whenever he wants, you know. He's kind of got carte blanche in that way. But yeah, there's something interesting about, you know, choice and having agency. And, you know, energy with agency, we've talked about that before. That seems to be kind of at the heart at a lot of paranormal phenomena when it's taking a hard to describe form in the physical plane, whether that's a ball of light or an energy or a feeling or a temperature change, things like that. We're talking about something that seems to have intelligence, seems to maybe have some sentience, and it has agency. So it's energy with agency, which is exactly what we are, at least with our consciousness and in this physical form. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about symbolism. And I want to get more into symbolism and about what it means because I've been obsessed with it lately. So, you know what? Actually, let's just get into it. I don't want to take a break yet. I'm being told by Nigel Nigel doesn't want me taking a break yet. Sorry, 3 more minutes until our commercial break. Got you, Nigel. The point is, I'm obsessed with symbolism. Did you just hear my knuckles cracking just now? That was weird. So I'm obsessed with symbolism right now. And to me, symbolism in the paranormal, it's a whole can of worms. It's a Pandora's box, if you will. Not to use a symbol to talk about to describe symbolism, but there are so many ways to experience something that is greater and outside of ourselves. Interaction with symbology is one of those ways. And there is such a juice when it comes to the research and the investigation of ancient meanings of modern occurrences with symbols. Now, I'm saying this because we all know what synchronicities are. Thank you, Carl Jung. We also know archetypes. We've got a vibe. We understand the energy. We get the vibe of archetypes. Even if you're sitting back thinking right now, like if someone put a squirt gun to your head with cyanide in it, would you be able to define archetype accurately? And you might be like, well, Ryan, I'm worried about this cyanide squirt gun, which is a very fun phrase, a cyanide squirt gun. You know the vibe of an archetype. You know what it is. I know what it is. You know what a synchronicity is. I know what it is. I feel it. You feel it. It's the same, right? So if we understand that synchronicity and archetypes also can be triggered or are related to, associated with, and utilized by symbols, then you start getting into like there is a stew here. There is a symbology stew with a synchronicity sprinkle. Oh yeah, don't forget the archetype base. And then you've got something that you can stew around in. You got something that's hearty, that's meaty. Well, it's not meaty, it's vegetable-y. It's plant-based goodness over here, right? Okay, not to make that political, but you get it. These metaphors, they can be whatever you want them to be, okay? So there are so many symbols and there are so many signs, which is, I think, a common way many of us think about synchronicities in conjunction with symbology equals signs? Oh, is that a thing we just stumbled upon? Holy smokes. Did we just make that up on the spot? Someone's had to have said that sentence out loud. Right? Synchronicity combined with symbols is a sign. Oh, I love it. Let's take a break. Patreon.com/Ryan Singer. No commercials.
The world moves fast. Your workday, even faster. Pitching products, drafting reports, analyzing data. Microsoft 365 Copilot is your AI assistant for work. Built into Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and other Microsoft 365 apps you use. Helping you quickly write, analyze, create, and summarize. So you can cut through clutter and clear a path to your best work. Learn more at Microsoft.com/M365 Copilot.
I need to remember this. Synchronicity in conjunction with symbols equals a sign. Wow. That's what a sign is. A sign is synchronicity combined with symbols. Symbolistic symbology. Wow. Okay. Let me tell you why. There's something about S's tonight that's driving me wild. I'm loving it, right? I'm like, I'm not going to say that. I was going to say I'm horny for the S sound right now. I just want to keep saying S over and over. Words that start with S. Spiral. Spirals. Big symbol in my life right now is a spiral. I went to a farmer's market over the weekend looking for spiral jewelry. Couldn't find any. Did find a really cool Tree of Life earring. Bought it. The guy's like, hey, do you want me? This is one of the Have you ever out in public and you're granted this beautiful awareness of how strange you have just appeared to be to a stranger, where you're just kind of given a glimpse into like, you're given, as Monroe said, a different overview. You get to be outside of yourself and you get to see, oh, this is why people call me weird sometimes. I find this Tree of Life earring and I'm like, I want it. There was only one. I wanted two for both ears, but I'll take one where I can get it. And he goes, okay. I go, how much? He tells me how much it is. I'm like, I'm buying it. And he goes, okay, no one's worn that. Do you want me to put some alcohol on it? And I go, no, I'll just do the mouth test. I say, I'll just do the mouth test. I take it, I put the earring in my mouth, switch it around in my mouth with a little, and then I separate the clasp or whatever it's called. I don't know what those are called. I've been wearing earrings since I was 17 years old. I don't know what that's called. The back, maybe that's what it's called. I think it might be called the back. So I suck on those things, spit them into my hand, dry them off on my t-shirt, and I put the earring in my ear with the back. And he's just kind of like trying not to look at me, while he's like running my card or whatever. And then he gives me the card back and I'm like, I don't need a receipt, thanks. And he goes, okay. He just says like, okay. And I walk off and I just started like thinking to myself, what did I just say? I said, I'll just give it the mouth test. Something to that effect. I'll just do the mouth test or I'll just give it the mouth test, right? Either way, I said mouth test as if that's a phrase that anyone has ever heard when it comes to disinfecting an earring before you pierce your body with it. Like, I'll give it the mouth test. I walked away just like wondering, like, why am I? And that's as I was walking away, and even in the moment right after setting it, I had instant awareness of just sounding like a maniac. Like, but I didn't. And I almost said, now think about it. I don't know why I said that. It doesn't make any sense. But hey, if you have to explain a joke, it's not funny. And if you have to explain a phrase you've made up on the spot that made a stranger think you're crazy, you're going to sound even crazier. Okay. So I'm just walking away thinking to myself, just give it the mouth test. I'll just give it the mouth test. Just kind of like, now I'm kind of laughing a little bit by myself. It's, we all have these lives, right? And are you living your best life? Are you making up phrases enough to people out in the wild to make them, question whether or not they should have heard something before? Because that guy's probably like, he's probably asking some friends later, like, hey, have you ever, when it comes to like disinfecting something or cleaning something off with like alcohol or hydrogen peroxide or whatever, I think you can use that, right? Because I got home, I did hydrogen peroxide myself. And the hole in my ear, my piercing did have like blood in it. So it's like, I started to worry that the mouth test didn't do the trick. But, I got tetanus. Anyway, so he's probably later. He's like, hey, I got a question. When you disinfect something? Yeah. Have you ever heard someone call it the mouth test before? When they're just like, put something in their mouth to clean it off real quick? Have you ever heard it called, I'll give it the mouth test? And his friends are like, what are you talking about? Why would you even ask me this question as if the answer would be yes? You might as well just ask me, hey, when you eat a banana, have you ever like eaten it through your ear? The friend would be like, what are you even asking me? Why would you even ask me? Like the answer might be yes. Same thing. But we're going to start it. Give it the mouth test. Okay. Start using that. It'll do me a big favor. Cause then, I don't know, 15 years from now, maybe that guy will be like, oh, that is a thing. That guy who I don't know his name and probably have never seen him again wasn't crazy. He just doesn't know how to properly use words to explain the thing he's going to do. And here we are. What was I talking about? Symbols, signs, Synchronicity. Spirals. I love spirals. Spirals are showing up. I've got a lot of spirals showing up. I'm looking for spiral. That's what it was. I was looking for spiral jewelry because spirals have just been hitting hard lately. Because the reason I bought this Dictionary of Symbols by J.E. Serlot is because my buddy had this dictionary. I opened it up. I took it off the bookshelf, opened it up, opened right up to spirals. Right when, the night before, reviewing a bunch of footage, spirals were showing up. So, as you can imagine, I'm spiraling out at this point, right? It can mean so many things. Now, here is the interesting thing. I'm not going to read to you from the dictionary, which is something I normally would do. I will tell you this. I have looked at no fewer than 4 different symbol dictionaries, which are really cool books, right? How many dictionaries have you? We already did this, I think. I can't remember what I said on the last time when it malfunctioned and what I've said now. So if I'm talking about something as if I'd already mentioned it a bunch and went in depth and detail about it, forgive me. It's in a parallel timeline of the podcast that will never be posted because it's glitchy. Now, here's why I got so jacked and juiced. Because in the reference of spirals, in the definition, it is been associated with the moon, which probably doesn't surprise you, right? It's been associated with travel, with homecoming, travel, portals. It's been used to symbolize portals before, I think, in the world of the paranormal. That's something you'll recognize. The nebula, the universe itself, the spiral of everything, the magic, the golden number, the golden ratio, the spiral, the seashell, right? We're talking about the creation of the universe itself. But here's where we got really juiced and jacked. With association with the moon and lunar animals. Now, when you take that part of the definition, the moon and lunar animals, in conjunction with the potential of being representative of a place of travel, you've got Sasquatch coming through portals. Am I crazy over here? Don't answer that. I'll put you to the mouth test. Wait, what? I will not put you to the mouth test. I will. Now, who knows what I just said? I don't know what I just said. The point is, most squatchers would tell you that Sasquatch, Bigfoot, Oma, Nanatuk, we can talk about that. Oh my God. Don't get distracted, Ryan. Would tell you that the skunk ape, this creature that is so elusive and that we love and adore, is nocturnal. Now, why is Patty from the Patterson-Gimlin film, almost 60 years ago, I think, is that right? Or over 60, 70 years ago now? 60 years ago. Why is Patty during the daytime? The greatest footage that we have ever to this day gotten, which has not been debunked, still stands up. The greatest footage that we have of this creature, and also on the Yellowstone National Park security cameras, also some really fascinating Sasquatch footage, potentially. Daytime. We're talking about daytime action. So if old Sassy Squatch is nocturnal, that doesn't mean that they're never up during the daytime. I get it, because rabbits are nocturnal as well, but you see them out during the daytime. But it begs the question, what's going on here? You hear a lot of the stories and accounts of people like during the daytime hearing whoops and strange things in the woods during the daytime. That is not night. We get that. We understand that. Ryan, thank you for explaining that daytime is not night. Am I on one or what tonight? Oh, God, I'm so glad Todd popped by and said hi. Anyway, I'm with Todd, by the way. You want to live this physical life as long as you can because it's the only one you get. And you got to try to optimize, right? What did he say? Optimize something? Optimize the physical, or what did he say? Anyway, so yeah, it's nocturnal. A lot of people will call it nocturnal. So, and some of these other creatures of the night in general, I mean, that's such a fun phrase, right? Creatures of the night. Paranormal creatures is what I should be saying. Typically are considered to be creatures of the night, nocturnal. So what we have here is we have a symbol that potentially represents a thing of travel, an area of travel right by where we believe a portal is. And representative of a nocturnal animal, which immediately I thought Sasquatch. So I'm getting juiced and I'm getting jacked. Now, granted, I get a little carried away sometimes. That's just who I am. I think, if I may be so bold, it's part of my charm. Okay? I have a childliness about me, which is different than an immaturity. It's a childliness. And we all need to keep in touch with our inner child and our childliness, right? So that's where whimsy and wonder and curiosity live. So I'm getting super stoked about this, right? We're putting detectives on the case. We've got all kinds of deep research hopefully occurring. I mean, so what's the point? The point is this. The context, the reverse engineering of symbols is where the juice is. Now, if you're one of these people like Indiana Jones and you can read petroglyphs and you know symbology, and he's not a real person, by the way. Or if you're one of these professors who understands archetypes and symbols and things and you just know anything means anything, or you can always put that together. I love you, and I love that for you. I'm not that guy, but I'm fascinated by it, and I love the study and the intrigue that goes along with understanding the meanings of something, right? We want to know what it means. That's what it means to be human. I need to know what it means, right? So that's what mystery is, trying to figure out what it means. How did it happen? Who did it? Where was it? What is it? Mystery. What does it mean, right? So we reverse engineer. So when we go back and we start looking into the history and to the shared consciousness that has loaded meaning into these things, that throughout history has become supercharged with emotion and association. Give me meaning. Ding, ding, ding. Tell him what he's won. He's won a symbol, an archetype. Excuse me. But why is that so juice-inducing? I'll tell you why. Because then, and only then, maybe potentially, very definitive and then backed off immediately in the same sentence. Then and only then, maybe you... I gotta drink a little water. Then and only then, maybe, can we move the conversation forward, right? When we seek the paranormal, John Keel is famous, and we bastardize his direct quote all the time. When you look at it, it looks back. When you look into it, it looks into you. Maybe we can continue the conversation. And isn't that what investigation is? Isn't that what initiation is? Isn't that what being alive is about? A conversation. Our physical body is having a conversation with our environment constantly. It's acting, it's reacting. The inputs and the outputs, whatever you want to call it, everything is a conversation. So, when you are in the moment of a paranormal experience, whether it's spontaneous or purposefully sought after, like an investigation would be, things are moving too fast to be able to deeply process everything that's occurring. It is after the fact, in retrospect, when we deep dive into the research component of the experiences we were having, that we now can start sifting through the emotions, understanding the associations, and defining potential meanings, uncovering potentialities. That then gets dumped into our language box, our toolkit of communication. And we go back, and now we are equipped with that information, which in the moment previously, there was no way for us to be able to accumulate or ascertain all of it. And now we have that. So now we use that to inform our side of the conversation moving forward. Oops, hit the mic. Sorry. A good example of this is you think you're interacting with an intelligence from a certain star system. After the fact, you can go back, you can check all the maps, you can do all the thing, you can see where you were, you know exactly where you were looking, and you know, okay, now you know the star. If you don't know the exact star, you know the general kind of area, right? And then you go back and you can start saying, hey, this is what I know about you from our last conversation. This is information I've obtained. Let's keep this going. And then boom, they respond like, oh, good. Okay, so you're in this conversation with me. You understand what I'm saying. That is what is extremely exciting to me when it comes to interacting with the paranormal, the supernatural, the high strange, or the phenomena, whatever it might be, consciousness in general. So we can continue the conversation and we can move past the opening salvos, the greetings. And what are the greetings? We're going to talk about the big greetings when we come back from our last break. Because I'm going to tell you, there's maybe five big greetings in the world of squatching, Bigfooting. I might take some guff for this, but I'm here trying to condone the continuation of the conversation outside of the original opening salvos. Can we move past these? Can we? And how do we move past those to get to a deeper conversation? We're going to try to figure that out when we get back from this last break. Thank you to Paranormal Corp for keeping the lights on around here. I mean, they're making everything. They're even getting into regular household items, not just paranormal. Patreon.com/Ryan Singer. $3 a month, no commercials ever.
Kids. They grow up so fast. One day they're taking their first steps, and the next, they don't fit into the tiny sneakers they took them in. You blink your eyes and their princess dress is 2 sizes too small, and their dinosaur backpack isn't cool anymore. But don't cry because they're growing up. Smile, because you can profit off of it. For real, there are a bunch of parents on Depop looking for the stuff your kid just grew out of. Download Depop to start selling.
Well, the holidays have come and gone once again, but if you've forgotten to get that special someone in your life a gift, well, Mint Mobile is extending their holiday offer of half off unlimited wireless. So here's the idea. You get it now, you call it an early present for next year. What do you have to lose?
Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Limited time, 50% off regular price for new customers. Upfront payment required. $45 for 3 months, $90 for 6 months, or $180 for 12-month plan. Taxes and fees extra. Speeds may slow after 50 gigabytes per month when network is busy. See terms.
And I'm back, and I hope you're back. Thank you for returning. So we're going to talk about the opening salvos, the conversation starters with, Bigfoot. Maybe we'll get into some paranormal ones as well. But those seem to be a lot more diverse, quite frankly, on a paranormal investigation. And that's not me throwing shade. It's not like improv versus stand-up here, where improvers and stand-up comedians have this blood feud that, isn't real, but some of them, I guess, do have it. But anyway, it's not Bigfooters versus ghost hunters or whatever you want to say. That's not what this is about. So when it comes to the world of Bigfoot, in my experience and from, what I've ascertained and accumulated over the years, is that you've got a few things here, right? You got 3 to 5 things that kind of really get the conversation started. You've got wood knocks. You've got whoops. Okay? So there's 2 of them. So you got wood knocks. You got whoops. Wait, why was there 5? That's like the only 2. What are they? Wood knocks and whoops. Those are the 2 big ones, right? When it comes to like trying to like make noise to communicate. And, you can you go out and sit in the woods, right? And you wait to hear something. And, you could even talk to them. You could holler, you could hoot and holler as well, I guess, if you really wanted to. But you've got wood knocks and you've got whoops. Those are the two probably big ones. Some people will play, like Native American music. That's another one. I don't think that's, one of the big ones, I wouldn't say, because I don't think most people do that when they're out in the woods. But you whoop, you wood knock. Okay, so, and you hear a whoop, you hear a wood knock. What do you do next? You whoop and you wood knock back. The question becomes, how do we move the conversation forward past just those things? Well, get you to at least 1 or 2 of the other big ones. Outside of wood knocks and whoops, you've got gifting. Now, a lot of squatchers, Bigfooters, they will gift, right? And that is not something that usually happens in the moment where there's a gift exchange happening. You're not having a white elephant with Bigfoot, although that would be incredible. What an incredible gift exchange that would have. You go out and you put some apples. I've even, heard peanut butter, some kind of food, like a fruit or a vegetable kind of thing. And you put it out there where they can get it, maybe up in a tree, and, you spike the apples onto branches or something like that, or put a jar of peanut butter up there or something like that. And then see if anybody got into it. You come back later, right? So that's not an in-the-moment conversation piece. The gifting is not an in-the-moment. Now, trail cams. Can you catch them on trail cams? Can you catch them on night vision, infrared, or thermal? These are some of the ways you try to capture evidence and proof of the existence of the elusive Squatch. But that's not really the conversational aspect, is it? Here's one of the other big ones. You've got wood knocks, you've got whoops, you've got gifting, and you've got structures, okay? Now, structures aren't really as much of a conversation when you're talking about the big X structures in the woods that are kind of like, it is considered to be and thought to be by a lot of researchers, property markers, boundary lines, marking their territory. Like, don't come through here. This is my house. It's like, walking through someone's front gate at their lawn in Florida. Let's just hope Bigfoot doesn't believe in stand my ground law. Okay. There's no way Bigfoot would ever vote for Ron DeSantis. Anyway, so let's talk about think smaller. Think smaller. Because Ron DeSantis doesn't give a shit about the environment, in case you were wondering why I said that. So think smaller structures. Now we're talking about stick symbols, stick letters commonly found in Squatch areas, like the letter A made with 3 sticks, or maybe 1 stick that has like a branch coming out the side of it. That is like the anarchy A. Imagine that in your mind. Don't you want to imagine the anarchy A in these days? Now, other letters as well. We had something we were calling the Ya sticks, but mostly to me, it's the A, right? When I see the A, I get super, super excited. Now, it's a symbol. That is it symbolizes a letter. It is a letter. It represents a letter. It represents language, which is used in communication. That's what's really cool about finding a stick structure that is a letter. So you've got whoops, wood knocks, stick structures, like letters specifically, or other symbols, maybe like an infinity symbol, or maybe even a spiral, something carved into the ground, potentially. or gifting. These are ways to directly communicate with Bigfoot at this point. Now, there are other ways. Some researchers will use psychic abilities. They'll use meditation. And we have tried that and we do that. And yes, that is a way to move the conversation forward for sure. Okay? ITC devices. Can a Bigfoot, does Sasquatch, would Oma communicate through a paranormal investigation device like a SB7? I have reason to believe the answer is a definitive yes. And if not them, a representative of some kind, some association to or with them, will communicate through those devices to you. Okay, now also bluff charges, rocks, sticks being thrown into campsites around campfires where people are out hanging out. These are all things that have been reported. An RV being shook while you're trying to sleep. Have these been reported? You bet your sweet tush. I have been in an RV when said thing has happened. Now, it makes you want to crap-a-doodle in your pants-a-woodle. It's going to make you crap-a-doodle in your pants-a-woodle. Especially when you're sharing that RV with another person and then you don't mention anything until the next morning. And you mentioned to them, wow, I didn't realize how unstable the RV was because I guess you got up to go to the bathroom because the whole thing was shaking back and forth, even though I didn't hear you walking to the bathroom. And they said, no, I thought that was you. And then you have that aha moment where you realize, oh, we got all shook up. We got the squatch. We got the squatch shake. We got shook by a squatch. We got squatch shook. What's better, the squatch shake or squatch shook? I think we got squatch shook is probably better. I just made that up just now, so bear with me, okay? We're just going to put this up on blocks and workshop it and see how it takes. And maybe it doesn't take. Maybe we'll never say it again. But you know what we got to remember? What was it? Symbols plus synchronicity. Synchronicity plus symbols equals a sign. We got to remember that. That's gold. I actually believe that. So I bet Robert Monroe would believe that too. My reliable narrator, Robert Monroe. So, yeah. So that's what is super interesting to me, is symbols are more than just representative of some archetypal idea or motif or thing. They are invitations to conversation. They are representative of conversation actually happening. In my mind, in my opinion, I believe that is true. So when you go back and you research and you try to dig it into the meanings and the archetypes and all this other kind of stuff in the history, now can you figure out maybe what they were communicating to you? That's the rub. Can you figure out what they were saying? And if you can, then you got a shot. I mean, and by the way, when I say if you can, that is, what's the word I'm looking for? Relative, okay? Because maybe you do, maybe you don't. And maybe bringing it back to hermaphrodite, which was the word I pulled from the dictionary and the book draw, maybe the answer can be two opposite things simultaneously. There can be many. There can be a multiplicity, which is also a word associated with hermaphroditism. Maybe there is a multiplicity of answers that are possible, like a choose your own adventure book from back in the day. There's many different paths now you can take through your, research in after the event, and let one of those inform your research moving forward. And maybe none of them are wrong. Simultaneously, they're all right, even if they're all different. That's interesting to think about, for sure. How do we get the conversation going? Because we need to get past just the whoops and the knocks and the gifts. Let's get to the bare tacks of this. What's going on? Give me the meaning of the universe, Bigfoot. You know? I don't think that's too much to ask. I've had a great time. I've never been more happy that there was a technical glitch while recording a podcast. And I really hope it didn't happen on this one. We're going to go back and listen, make sure, because I had a hell of a time. I had a good time. I hope that translates to you also enjoying this. And got some great conversations coming your way. Can't wait to bring those to you here in the very, very near future. And remember, there's obstacles in all of our paths. We can overcome anything, right? Get into the Gateway Voyage meditation program. If there's one recommendation I could ever make. And, watch it unlock your psychic abilities. And watch it make you just feel more connected to the universe and the consciousness that surrounds each and everything and everyone in this world and all the other worlds combined. I just can't recommend it enough. I've been enjoying it for a year and a half now. So, okay, I love you. I hope you love yourself. Take care of yourself. I've got some shows. I'll be announcing them soon. They're on the books. I'll be on the road this summer. Can't wait to share updates on some other projects as well. But in the meantime, just remember, it's never too late over here. And if I don't see you at a live show, maybe somewhere in Los Angeles or something like that, I'll just see you at the watering hole on the astral plane.
Now receiving frequency transmission.
What scares me is getting stuck really late at night in an unfamiliar town at some intersection that has an inexplicable red light that shouldn't even be red because there's no one around for miles. It's 3 a.m. and yet there I am, the engine idling and the seconds are ticking and I'm looking to the left and looking to the right in the shadows. At that moment, I'm always convinced that I've been set up by the forces of darkness, and this is the moment when something is going to come out of the dark at my car, and that thing is going to be, I don't know, let's just say the Wendigo, sure.
Transmission complete. Stay tuned to SpectreVision Radio. Stay.